The sun was barely a smudge of gold over the rolling hills of Montana's Bitterroot Valley when I heard a low, guttural roar that didn't belong. I stood on the porch of my ranch, coffee mug warming my hands, and watched a bulldozer chew through the cedar grove that marked the edge of my land. Those trees weren't just wood and leaves. They were my dad's legacy, planted decades ago to shield the ranch from the biting wind. Each one that fell felt like a punch to the gut. My dog, Scout, pressed against my leg, his hackles up, letting out a whine that said he felt the violation as much as I did. My name's Ethan Caldwell, and I don't talk much. Years in the Corps taught me that silence keeps you alive. You watch, you wait, and you learn that trouble doesn't always come with a warning shot. Sometimes it comes with a smile, the kind Diana Foster wore like a blade sharp, polished, and meant to cut deep. She was the head of the Pine Hollow Homeowners Association, and she'd been a thorn in my side since she rolled into town 2 years ago, on a crisp September morning in 2023. That morning, as the dozer tore into my cedars, I saw her crew 5 or 6 guys in hard hats, moving like they owned the place. A plywood sign staked into the dirt read, Future Pine Hollow Community Center. My own faded sign, nailed to a post, screamed, private property. No trespassing. I sipped my coffee, still hot, and let the anger settle into something colder, something useful. Diana stood by a sleek gray SUV, flanked by 2 men in black jackets, her so-called compliance team. They had earpieces, puffed-up chests, and the kind of stance that screamed hired muscle trying too hard. A woman in a blue HOA shirt clutched a clipboard, looking nervous. Their truck blocked the fire road, despite the bright orange sign warning to keep it clear. I set my mug down and went inside. My wife, Sarah, was at the kitchen counter, her tablet glowing with security feeds. She was ready, as always, her eyes asking the question her lips didn't need to form. "They've started," I said. She nodded, her fingers already flying across the screen. "Comms are live. Mike, Tom, and Lucas are 3 minutes out. Cameras are rolling, body cams, dash cams, everything's backed up." Sarah wasn't just my partner. She was my anchor, my strategist, my eyes in the sky. "Kids okay?" I asked. "Lila's teaching Aunt Clara how to play checkers. Ben's probably chasing her chickens. They're safe." Sending our kids to Sarah's sister was tough, but this wasn't their fight. I grabbed my phone as it buzzed Mike at the gate. In my office, I opened the gun safe. My dad's old lever-action rifle stayed put. I reached for the 12 gauge instead, checking it with practiced ease. My crew, Mike, Tom, and Lucas, were Marines, brothers forged in fire. They'd shown up here years ago, looking for a quiet life. We'd found it, until now. When their truck rumbled up, they were geared up, cameras rolling, faces hard. We didn't look like ranchers. We looked like a unit. Scout hopped into my truck's back seat, his presence steady as we drove toward the cedar grove. The construction crew froze as we approached, tools slowing. Diana's goons stepped forward, trying to block us. I eased the truck closer, the grill nearly kissing their belts, and they backed off. We stepped out, fanning into a line, silent, muzzles down, legal. The woman with the clipboard bolted, her papers scattering. A young worker dropped his shovel and ran, dust streaking his face. One of Diana's compliance guys yelled into his radio, stumbling after them. The lead goon, a stocky guy with a buzz cut, finally spoke. "This is a private site. Leave." I kept my voice flat. "You're on Caldwell land, 200 yards past my line. You leave." He smirked. "We've got a permit from Pine Hollow HOA. I held up my phone, recording. "Your permit doesn't mean squat here. Every tree you've cut, every word you're saying, it's all going to the sheriff." His smirk faded. He glanced at his partner, then my shotgun. The math wasn't adding up for him. The crew stopped work, watching from a distance. They weren't the problem, Diana was. A siren wailed in the distance. Sheriff Dan Carter was coming. He pulled up, dust swirling, and stepped out, adjusting his hat. Dan was a good man, worn down by years of small-town disputes. He took in the scene, for armed ranchers, 2 shaken bodyguards, a rattled crew, and a graveyard of cedars. "Ethan," he nodded. "Diana." He didn't need to say more. He took the tablet from the goon, swiped through their so-called permit, and looked at me. "Says they've got an easement for a rec center." I shook my head. "Not on my land, Dan. Check the county plat. This whole mess started when my dad died, 3 years back. He'd helped found Pine Hollow, selling off bits of the ranch to families wanting a slice of Montana. The HOA was meant for simple things: roads, utilities. Then Diana arrived, all charm and promises, buying the biggest lot and worming her way to HOA president. She pushed rules: fence heights, paint colors, tree types control disguised as progress. After Dad passed, while I was still overseas, a new plat map surfaced, showing an easement through my cedar grove. It was a forgery, slick but fake. My dad would have burned the paper himself before giving up those trees. Diana's real target? Our well, sitting on a prime aquifer. Her community center was a cover for a luxury spa that'd drain our water, all to fuel her campaign for county commissioner. Power was her drug, and she was hooked. Dan handed the tablet back. County records show this land's Ethan's, no easement. You're trespassing, and that dozer's destroying private property. Clear out now. I nodded to my crew, and we lowered our weapons, climbing back into the truck. The crew scrambled to pack up, Diana's goons looking lost. For now, we'd won. But Diana wasn't the type to quit. 2 days of tense quiet followed. We fortified. Mike and Tom checked the fences, Lucas swept for bugs, Sarah kept the drone up. Scout stayed close, ears twitching. The kids were safe with Clara, but the strain was heavy. On the third night, it escalated. Sarah spotted at first a white HOA truck blocking the fire road. Then another, sealing the other end. A deliberate chokehold. At 8:15 p.m., the power cut out, plunging us into darkness. The generator hummed to life, casting a dim glow. Sarah checked her tablet. Grids down, cell tower 2. Transformer blew nearby. No coincidence. Diana was isolating us, trying to make us panic. But we'd operated in worse. Mike, Tom, Lucas, I said into the radio. Status. Mike's voice was calm. Generators good, west perimeter clear. Lucas chimed in. East side's got 2 guys in that truck, just watching. Sarah switched the drone to thermal, revealing a ghostly world. The trucks glowed hot, deer darted through the woods, and a faint whiff of smoke. Scout growled, and I ran to the door. The wind carried the acrid scent of fire. My stomach dropped. Sarah, check the creek. The drone feed showed a white-hot bloom along Willow Creek, a wildfire roaring toward us, fueled by dry brush and wind. The blockade, the power cut, the planted badge, it was all a setup. The fire was Diana's endgame, meant to erase evidence, destroy our home, and drive us out. Arson, plain and simple. Sarah called 911 on the satellite phone. Fire's visible from the highway, but the roads are blocked. They're trying to find a way, but it'll take time. Diana had planned it perfectly. Fire trucks stuck, us trapped. My crew sprang into action, hooking up water pumps to soak the house and barn. The air grew thick, the fires roar like a living beast. Dan's voice crackled on the phone. Ethan, we can't get through. There's a wreck on the alternate route. And those workers from the construction site, they're trapped by the creek. We don't know if they got out. My blood boiled. Those workers weren't the enemy. They were pawns, left to burn by Diana's orders. Rage flared, but I pushed it down. We don't leave people behind. Sarah, get the Cessna ready, I said. Recon, then rescue. To the radio, Mike, Tom, Lucas, we're going after those workers. They're by the creek, pinned by the fire. Mike's voice was steady. That's a hot zone, Ethan. I know. Stay here, protect the ranch. Sarah grabbed the keys, her face set. What about the bag they planted? Let it burn, I said. People come first. A crackly voice broke through the radio. Neighbor Walt, a retired mechanic with a ham radio setup. Caldwell Ranch, you there? Town's watching the glow, hearing the scanner. What's happening? I made a call. Walt, Sarah's sending you a drone feed link. Get it out there. Show them why the fire trucks can't get through. That choice would change everything. Sarah took off in the Cessna, her lights slicing through the smoke. I sped toward the ridge road, the drone feed on my tablet showing a wall of flame. Sarah's voice was calm. Fire's jumping the creek. I'm searching for the workers. Lucas, piloting a drone, found them 6 heat signatures huddled on a rocky outcrop, surrounded by fire. Sarah's landing lights lit them up, their faces pale with fear. But the slope was impassable. Ethan, get to the airstrip, Sarah said. I'm landing on the ridge road. My heart stopped. That's suicide. It's too narrow, too short. It's our only shot, she snapped. I cleared the road, aiming the truck's lights to guide her. The Cessna came in hot, bouncing hard, stopping inches from disaster. We scrambled down a narrow draw, guided by Lucas's drone, and found the workers coughing, terrified, alive. We got them to the plane, but there was no room for me. Go, I told Sarah. She nodded, took off, and I watched her climb into the fiery sky, my heart in my throat. Alone on the ridge, I was cut off, the fire closing in. Lucas, find me a path. His drone led me to Willow Creek, where I waded through cool water, smoke choking the air. As I slogged back, Sarah and Lucas flew drones over the burned site, capturing the fire's unnatural bluma, telltale sign of arson. By dawn, I reached the ranch, soaked and sooty. Dan was there, grim-faced. I showed him the drone footage, the planted bag, the broadcast Walt had shared. The county had watched us save Diana's workers while her trucks blocked help. At the ignition site, we found melted gas cans and a flare Diana's sloppy signature. In court, Diana played the victim, claiming an accidental spark. Our lawyer, Greg, dismantled her. He proved the plat map was forged, exposed her embezzlement, and played our footage. Sarah's testimony flight logs, drone data. The arson pattern was devastating. A rescued worker sealed it, admitting Diana ordered a diversion, fire that spiraled out of control. The jury took 45 minutes. Guilty arson, fraud, conspiracy. Diana's mask shattered, her eyes burning with hate as they led her away. She got years in prison and a restitution order to fund a restoration plan for our 300 scorched acres, overseen by me. Months later, we planted new cedars, small, but a start. Lila and Ben helped, mapping and watering, while neighbors pitched in, inspired by our fight. Walt handed out drinks, retelling the story. The land was healing, and so were we. Diana wanted power. We gave her a legacy of defeat. Every new tree whispers her failure and our resolve. What would you have done in our shoes? Risked everything to save strangers or protected your own? Was our fight with Diana just, or did we go too far? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more stories that'll keep you on edge.